What's up, Big Bear Nation? Good morning and welcome back to the homestead. So we just had an incident happen that is very fitting with what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. And that is about balance. Balancing your home life, your work life, your homesteading life, all of that, and how important that is. You see, when we started off in the spring, we had everything set up the way that we wanted it. We had our garden planted. We had chicken tractors ready for birds. The whole front end of the pasture was set up. We had cows rotating on it with the chickens behind it, and everything was great. And we had a good balance. Every Sunday as a family, we would all relax and we would watch a movie, go to church, do all those kinds of things. We had a chance to kind of fill our cups back up for the next week. We had a good routine of how we would handle the farm work. Before work, I would get up in the morning and help milk the cows. We would all get up together and do the chores. Everything was balanced. Everything was good. But then I quit my job in June, and after about a month, we realized that the way we were doing things was not going to keep the bills paid and keep the homestead going the way that we wanted it to go. So we started door dashing, like I told you before, and we really didn't have a full concept of exactly how much money we needed to make. So that was our number one priority. That we thought was the thing we needed to focus on the most. Such a good mommy. Yeah. But what we have found is that we are missing that balance. That balance was super important, and we took it for granted when we had it. Now, sure, the bills are getting paid, but the consequences of not having that balance have been way more severe, in my opinion, than what being behind on a bill could have been. So once we started having to DoorDash, we were leaving first thing in the morning and not coming home till super late. So I wasn't helping with milking. Ladessa took that like a champ, no problem. Carol was helping out with pigs and chickens. Again, everything was going great. But then we had a storm, and not only did it knock out some of our meat chicks that we had, but it also started to ground out our electric fencing for our pigs. And in the middle of all of that, we had pigs having babies. So we're having to separate out piglets as they would become old enough to be weaned. And in the middle of all of that, we lost track of the time of when Leia's piglets were supposed to be pulled. And so Leia's piglets would start irritating her. She's ready to get rid of them. So Leia just starts busting through fencing. Tried putting them behind hard fencing, it didn't matter. We finally figured out it was the piglets, pulled the piglets, and everything's been fine. But in the process of all of that, she at one point got so moody that she went into our backyard while we were all asleep, tipped over the meat bird tractors and just started having fun with chicks. Another consequence was, because we were focusing on dealing with the pigs, we were not moving the goats the way that we should be. And so they started testing the electric fencing again. Come on, Regina, come here. Where'd you get out? Well, now we're having to retrain them back on the fencing and be very careful with how we set it up so they don't have a way to get out of it. So again, it's all about the balance, trying to find the balance between making money, fixing things on the farm, maintaining everything, and also maintaining our own mental health. But once we had a chance to realize that the world was spinning out of control around us, because sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you just don't realize just how much you're spinning out of control. And so what we had to do was stop and realize that that's what was going on and go, hold on, we have to get back to a balance.
Daily reminder to, no matter what people say, to just be yourself. Dory, what are you gonna do after you just had a power nap of the century? I'm going to Disney World. You heard her, folks.
And so we identified that our biggest problem was not managing our time properly. So we figured out how much money exactly we needed to make. We broke that down by day, and we realized that it wasn't nearly as much as we thought it would be, which then gave us the time to do things like record for YouTube, fix pallet fencing, move the goats, secure tractors, make sure that we don't have predators running around. And now things seem to be under control. We're still having to deal with the consequences of not having everything in balance. Part of that being not having a very good summer harvest that we should have had, not putting any chickens in the freezer because we had a pig that wanted to act out and a terrible aerial predator problem this year. And we just have a lot of things that we need to repair before we start all over again in the spring. But I'm grateful for the lesson of balance, because like I said, when you have it, you take it for granted. And when you don't have it, it takes you a while to figure out that you don't have it. And in the process, the consequences that can come can be catastrophic. So I hope that you will have learned just a little bit from our experience that you need to find your balance, maintain it, and hold time very close to your heart, because there may come a time when we don't have it anymore. Thank you for stopping by the Big Bear Homestead. God bless, and have a nice day.